Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect episode 178. Today's date is March 30th, 2024, and I am Duds or Duds Versus, known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Carl, you may know me as Carl Rides, and it's actually the 31st of March. What have you been up to recently, Duds?
Not watching Back to the Future, obviously.
Time zones, woo!
Yeah, what we did this month looks a lot like what you're...
It's not far off.
Yeah, so, as people would tell, episodes got a little scarce, and I'm going to take blame for that one, because we've been a man down at work for like a couple months now. So one of our oldest employees ended up leaving, going to a different company, and HR have absolutely drugged their feet to get replacement employees in. And at the same time, I'm training for a new position
Ooh.
at a different area. So I'm training a replacement while also training myself
Fun.
at a new job. While at the same time waiting on HR to again bring in a new employee.
Yeah, but companies like to operate on less people these days.
Yeah, so that's been absolutely hectic, and I just come home from work exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To make it even worse is I think this started in the summertime, just burnout from Minecraft. Like, I'll start the game up, excited to go do something, and then I'll go, oh wait, this isn't fun for me anymore.
Yeah.
And just not play.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, so for me to actually play, it's rough. I don't play unless I really feel up to it, because when I go to record something, you can hear it in my voice that I'm not having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's not fair to other people for me to put out content where I'm like that. And at the same time, I don't want to edit content where I just sound like I'm in a bad mood all the time. Content's been spread thin this season. I don't know what will get me out of the burnout funk. The new update's not going to.
Yeah.
I can already tell you that. And I'm not saying it's a bad update, but it's not geared for me in any way. Nothing about that update gets me excited.
I don't think the updates have been geared to you for a number of years, to be honest.
Yeah, like the last 3 updates have had nothing for me, which is real rough.
I like bits and bobs of the updates, but
there's a couple things that I like, but it's not enough to make me rush to go play it.
Yeah.
Like, I've not test played any of it. Yeah, there's just nothing that makes me go, I can't wait to play it. It's like, oh, that's in the game now? Okay, cool. I'll mess with that sooner or later.
Yeah. They seem to be adding little bits and bobs rather than dealing with the core problems of the game.
Yes. Like, I was really hoping for an inventory update, and we didn't get it. Dealing with inventory while building alone, like, all of my builds have an extreme amount of detail in it. So the number of blocks I have to carry in my inventory is rather large. So all my detailing work is tedious. And that's part of the burnout problem, is I know if I'm getting ready to detail something that it's like, oh, guess what? You're going to spend about an hour and you're only going to get like a little 10 by 10 block area done. It's like, ugh.
That was always my thing. Like, you'd spend all this time gathering resources, which is fun, the first 10 times you do it.
Yes.
And then it's not. And now there's even more blocks to find. And the way of finding them is more and more convoluted than it used to be. Because, there are different Y levels and all. It's not like the days when you used to have, look at me, the days when we used to have just stone.
The good old days.
The good old days when there weren't all 27 variants of stone.
Yeah, I mean, I remember you could just make a farm for basically anything you wanted in the game.
Yeah.
And you really can't anymore.
And then once you've got all the stuff, you've then got to fight with the inventory system. You've got to have hundreds of shulker boxes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember what's in what, because there's only 16 colours. And it's just...
Yeah.
Whenever I think about a new base idea and go, I might want to play Minecraft, and then I just think about what I want to do, and then think about how many hours I'm going to have to put into doing that. And I'm just like, I come home from work, and I have a nap, and I eat food, and I watch a bit of YouTube, and then I go to bed. There's no time.
Yeah.
Or if there is time, I'm going to go and play something else that I haven't played in years.
Well, and I think that's part of my problem too, is I've not played any games other than Minecraft in forever.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've snuck Played Up in there with Aerington for a little bit.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm talking like the last 3 years. Minecraft's like the only game I've played.
I've said this on the show before, but I kind of pick up games in batches, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I spent like an entire month playing Hitman, the Hitman franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And then I spent like a week playing Age of Empires all the time, the one from like 2002.
Mm-hmm.
And then this month, I spent like 2 full days when I was off work playing Airport CEO.
Yeah.
That I haven't played in years. And I just like built like this massive airport, and it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm done with that game for another 2 years because that's kind of how I roll. And I didn't record any of it or stream any of it because content meh.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to put some pictures, some images up of the airport on Twitter or X. So link in the description to my X. I'll have those up by the time the show goes up. Because it's a really cool airport. It's a really cool design. It works really well. But I just don't want to make content, so...
Yeah. I really wanted to get back into streaming this year, and I haven't.
Yeah. I thought about that a few times, but time and energy.
Yeah, my problem is a lot of my viewers are lurkers, which is great. I don't want it to come off wrong, but it requires a lot of talking to myself, and I've learned that I just don't talk to myself when, like, even in a thinking process, there's no conversation happening there.
Yeah, same.
So to try to force it on stream, which is what you got to do when you have lurkers, is you just kind of have to talk to yourself.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I'm mentally just not built for streaming.
I'm good at like talking to myself in my head about what's going on. And it's getting that out. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, and then comes like the burnout. And like you said, after work, are you really wanting to sit down for 2 to 3 hours and do something that's just not inherently fun? I think group streaming's really fun.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
That could be cool. But like you were saying before about like, you've got all this extra work that you've got to do because you're training to do a different job and you've got to train the person who's going to do your job. Ours is sort of like we have less people doing the same amount of work. So my workload is like double what it was a few years ago.
Well, and it's not even that. I'm training the guy who replaced the guy who had already left a couple months ago. And they don't even have my replacement in.
Right, okay.
So then I have to train my replacement.
So
nice.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Me either. When I feel like playing, I pop it on and I start working. I'm working on an episode right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the designs and stuff I have, I think are nice, but they're not anything new that makes me like get excited. It's the same kind of farm I've already built before in multiple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes it even harder is this season I wanted to do a lot of freestanding builds, which is not my forte, so I could like work on it. And I think that's hurting me because I know I have to like really work at the build.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just really need to stick to what I'm good at and what I like doing.
Can get a bit repetitive though, can't it?
Yeah. Like I like my builds. My house is probably my favorite house I've ever built.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all the other stuff around it. Like my nether portal I like, but I don't love some of the other things. It's the same way.
It's just sort of the same old, isn't it? You make a house, you make some farms, you make another portal. It's just like, it's the same kind of process every time.
Yes.
There's not that many new things. I mean, obviously we got like the trial chambers and stuff, but they're not sort of like the bastions. They're not something new like that you can really do something with, or...
Yeah. Well, and...
They're cool, but...
For me, the block palettes aren't changing. Like, we've got bamboo and cherry wood, and those are 2 blocks I'm not going to use a lot. I've used a little bit of bamboo, and by little, I mean a little bit. I've never used cherry. I just can't build with hot pink. It's not going to work. Or pastel pink.
So many pink.
There's a lot of pinks in Minecraft.
No grays. Well, wood grays.
And then when you look at this update, we're getting tough blocks, which I'm excited for, all the different tough blocks. But then you have copper, which we've already gotten copper, so it's just more copper. It's not bad blocks. There's just nothing that I remember the feeling when I saw Deep Slate
Yes.
and how excited I got for Deep Slate.
Mm-hmm.
And Tough, while I loved the Tough stuff, it didn't get me like super excited. I was just like, oh yeah, that's going to be cool. Whereas Deep Slate, I was like, girl.
Yeah, Deep Slate was awesome when it came out. I was like, yes.
Deep Slate, oh my. I was so happy when they split it up. They were saying, well, you're going to get the Deep Slate. And I was like, yes. I want to stress this. I'm not saying this next update is a bad update. I remember saying like, well, if this is all they're going to do, it's not very good. And then they've come up with so much more since then. It is a good update. It's just not for me.
Yeah, same. There's only 2 things that would be a good update in my eyes.
Yeah, end update, inventory.
And those are well documented. End update, modern update. Go.
Oh, yeah. Concrete stairs and slabs.
Yep, gunmetal grey wood.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm flogging a dead horse at this point. So, yeah, I've got the week off work this week, which is nice.
Lucky.
I've already got a lot done today. My first day off today, and I've already got a load of new stuff for my server cabinet to sort that out because it's a mess.
I so want to build a server.
Actually cleaned my car for the first time in 2 years.
I'm cleaning my car tomorrow. It's going to be 80 degrees Fahrenheit here.
Uh-huh.
So I'm taking my time and cleaning my car tomorrow.
It was so good today just to be outside in the sun because we don't get much sun in the UK. So it was nice. It was like 13 degrees Celsius, which is, hot for the UK.
Yeah.
The sun was out and I was washing my car, having music on, and it was awesome. Just having time to do that and not being knackered from work is really nice. Because I was only in half day yesterday anyway.
Nice.
It was good. A lot to do. I want to organize more stuff and because there's still loads of stuff to go through. Like my to-do list for life is like so long.
Yeah.
Knocking some of those off over this week is going to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's been my month, really.
Yeah, not a very busy month for myself.
I think burnouts is busy.
Yeah. I've watched a lot of movies and TV shows in this past month.
I've actually started knocking some of those off as well. I was watching, what was I watching before we came on? King of Thieves. It's a movie about the Hatton Garden diamond heist in the UK in 2015. That's a really good movie. Yeah, so I'm just kind of going through my media list and trying to get some of those knocked off as well.
We could probably talk about more of that stuff during the post show. I don't want to get too far off topic.
Yeah. Let's move on to the news then.
Big chunks of news. We'll start with the Bedrock stuff. Bedrock add-ons came to Marketplace. I think add-ons have been there before. I think they're just really pushing it now. Hermitcraft went to the Marketplace, Season 9.
Yeah, they've converted it to Bedrock and put it on the Marketplace for you guys to download if you want to play on Hermitcraft Season 9. I don't know how well it works with all the redstone decked out. I don't know how that translates to Bedrock, but...
Oh, yeah. Oof.
I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, I guess go watch Xuma's video on it because he did a video about it going to Marketplace, so he might have some information in there for you. We'll link that in the show notes.
And then we have the snapshots.
A lot of snapshots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got the new Bad Omen and Raid Omen. Now, I really like this change.
I do too. I've never liked stacking raid farms. I've always felt they're too OP. I had a raid farm on Ripple, but it wasn't a stacking one. Every time I wanted to run a raid, I had to do it by hand. To me, those farms should still work.
Yeah, you've just got to drink the bottle, haven't you? And then it creates the raid from your position when you drink it.
Right.
Rather than it just being automatic when you kill the raid captain. I'm a big fan of this change. It didn't really sit with me right in the first place that it was automatic as soon as you killed him and you had to drink some milk and that to get rid of it and that.
It was so annoying.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm on board with this one.
Well, and the best part is if you accidentally drink it, you can follow it up with milk. I think it's 30 seconds or something like that, and it stops the raid.
Yeah, there's a countdown timer, isn't there? Before it kicks off. So yeah, awesome changes. Awesome.
Yeah, which also means you have the ominous trial stuff, which just basically ups the difficulty level, I think by adding more mobs. I don't think the mobs get more difficult. I don't know, maybe they do, because I know they spawn with better armor and stuff.
Yeah, I've not really been following the trial chambers that much.
I've been following them a little bit just to kind of make sure I'm on point with the show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I haven't been following like as well as I should. It's like, oh, another trial chamber thing. Okay. You have the wind charge, which is cool. I don't know. I'll have to play with it to see when I'm actually going to use it.
It's not for us.
Yeah, like I watched that and I went, well, I can do that, but with a pearl.
Yeah.
And I'm more accurate with a pearl. But I can tell, like, with these later snapshots that it was very much intended to help in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the mace, which we're going to get to. But yeah, the wind charge. You have the new potion effects. I think there's like 4 of them that will spawn slime, will spawn, what is it called? Oozing. Whereas you kill a mob, it'll spawn 2 medium slimes. You have infested, where when a mob takes damage from you, they have a small chance of spawning silverfish.
No one wants that.
As if as if silverfish weren't already as annoying as possible.
Yeah, that take that out.
Yeah, they had a potion for wind charge, so if you killed a mob, it would kind of create a blow up animation when the mob died. Not directly on the death animation starting, but as soon as the death animation ends, you would get the wind charge effect. And I'm trying. There's one more, but I just can't remember it.
Can you put that on arrows?
I didn't see anything on arrows. Right now, it's just potion bottles, and you can put them on splash potions.
Right. Okay.
It would make sense to put it on arrows. It really would.
You know, with my spectral arrows, I like arrow effect.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm. The layout of the trial chambers have been tweaked a little bit. I don't see dramatic changes. Like, there's definitely new rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of all still the samey, just with different kinds of spawners and ominous spawners and all that stuff. They've made loot tables way different now. So to get the stuff to craft the mace and stuff, you definitely need to get ominous effects before you walk in. And I think the trial spawners don't start until it gets line of sight with you.
Okay.
Which is very much a strategic thing you can do inside the chambers. Yeah, let's talk the mace, because it's obviously the biggest.
The mace.
The biggest thing. I'm not a fan of the texture, but I don't think it's a bad texture.
It's alright.
Yeah, it's alright. I would kind of like to see a 3D version of it. And this is kind of where I'm torn, because the mace texture now very much feels Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a 3D texture would not feel so much Minecraft. But then I think back to the Trident, which is a 3D texture.
Yeah.
And it's basically all been forgotten about when it comes to updates and stuff, because it's useless unless you're in the water.
Oh, the Trident.
Such a waste. Same with the crossbow. The crossbows were basically a waste too.
The crossbow's good for games, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Specifically my game.
But the mace will not be useless.
The mace, like, in terms of 3D texture, I bet vanilla tweaks will have you back on that at some point.
Yeah, probably. And I might not like it when I see a 3D texture, to be honest with you.
Maybe.
I'm not saying that the texture is that bad. I just would like to see a 3D texture. And I might immediately go, oh, nope, the original was way better. But the mace is cool. I like how they put another weapon in there and that actually does some good damage.
Mm-hmm. Another thing to carry, though.
Well, I would think if you choose the mace, you're not going to carry a sword.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And of course, it's got its own custom enchantments and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen mending on one of them.
Nice.
You still have that. I know a lot of people are like, well, no mending, blah, blah, blah. I like mending. I don't think they should take it out. If you don't like mending, don't play with mending.
Yeah.
To kind of champion for taking mending out of the game, it ruins a lot of other people's way they play the game.
Yeah, choice is good.
Yeah, I really don't want to spend my time getting diamonds just to repair something and then getting levels to do the big repairs.
Mm-hmm.
Then having to just make new pickaxes and enchant them again. Yeah, that grind ruins the game for me. But anyways, the mace has a breeze rod. I think that's what it's called. And like the super heavy alloy thing. I can't believe I forgot what they're called. I had this in my head right before the show, and then of course as soon as we hit record, I just go brain dumb. Anyways, the mace, like, it causes more damage from the higher distance you fall. You can one-shot just a ton of mobs. Like, there were people already testing out if you could one-shot the warden.
Ooh.
Which you can.
Nice.
You can one-shot the dragon.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. I saw some people making up for the fact, you know how when the dragon hits you and it launches you straight in the air?
Mm-hmm.
They'll come straight down and hit the dragon again and one-shot the dragon just from the height the dragon launches you up with. And the best part is, if you make contact when you're coming down, it nerfs fall damage.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bucket clutch for smacking something on the head.
Mace is cool. Mace is very, very cool.
It's a very good weapon. I don't know if I'm going to use it yet. That's definitely one I've got to play with, because I thought I would love crossbows, but when you use them in game, it just didn't make sense. So I'm gonna wait for final judgment on the mace. But everything from what I've seen so far, it's a very cool weapon. My worry is, like, if you're going into caves and stuff where you can't really get vertical all the time, is it useful there? If you're going in raiding, is it useful? I mean, like, there's a lot of times when you're in raiding where you're up in the air and you're already floating, so it kind of makes sense. But then there's times where you're in a small room.
Yeah, and there's not really that much room to move, is there, in those little end city rooms? Yeah. So I very much do think the mace is balanced in that fact. There's some give and take with it, but I don't know how much give and take. The fine details are what eludes me. Yeah, probably situational.
Yeah, it might be one of those things where, like, if I know I'm going caving, I'm just going to drop the mace and grab a sword or stuff like that. When I go in busting, I kind of drop down to the bare minimum amount of tools anyways. So I might carry a sword and a mace and attack that way. The only thing is they're super hard to get.
Put it in your ender chest.
Definitely just don't want to lose it in the end.
Yeah. Losing cool stuff in the end is like one of the most depressing things in Minecraft.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the things I wanted was a unique weapon, and we've got that for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now on to the two things I actually am excited for this update. We can create custom banner patterns, which I'm super excited for.
Is that where you, like, make a banner and then turn it into a pattern and then someone else can use it?
I don't know exactly how it works.
Because that's what that means to me. Because you can, like, you can make a banner on the loom using different colors and shapes and stuff. And then obviously you can copy it. I'm assuming this is a way of putting it on a pattern, and then people can copy it from the pattern rather than from a banner.
I don't think there's any way to do it in game.
Okay. Because that's what would make sense to me, but I don't actually know.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way to do it in game, but there will be mods probably out here in no time that does that.
That'd be cool if they could add that in. I mean, if we're already adding custom banner patterns, to be able to have them made in-game as well using the loom, maybe.
Yeah, well, and give another use to the loom.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool idea.
And then finally, we have the upgraded doggo armor.
Doggos.
I say that because doggos with armor couldn't survive a creeper explosion when they first came out. Like, it was pretty pitiful. So it's like, you might as well not have anything at all.
Good testing there, Mojang.
Yeah, but now they can. They're pretty indestructible now.
Nice.
Which is great. It gives me a reason to take my doggo with me exploring. I don't have to worry about them dying.
Yeah, you always had to kind of like set them down and just leave them because they were always like dying every 5 minutes.
Exactly. And doggos, when you're exploring, are pretty fun.
Do they stop running into lava by themselves now?
I do not know.
Because that's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, there's lava over here. Let me go and play in it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. You're not a strider, you know.
I'd like to be able to dye and color the doggo armor. That would be nice.
Yeah. Like you can their little...
bandana or collar.
Collar, yeah.
Yeah. I've always viewed that as a bandana because, like, the default's red. There's a lot of people ripping on how it looks. I don't think it's that ugly. I actually kind of like the texture.
Looks alright.
Yeah, it's not horrible. I don't think any of the textures this update are bad. Some are a little off, but none of them are bad. That's kind of all I have for the stuff I wanted to talk about in the snapshots.
Yeah, the doggo armor doesn't look that bad.
No.
It looks alright. Did a good job with that. Is that all 121 then?
So custom banner patterns and better doggo armor is 120.5.
Mojang, a bit of advice. This is getting complicated. Do one update at a time.
Yeah. It is what it is. And basically, they've released all the stuff for 121 now.
Right.
At least that's what they have announced, that, hey, this is the final feature for 121.
So we should be seeing refinement snapshots?
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll probably have snapshots for at least a couple more weeks, and then we'll start getting pre-releases. There might be some smaller stuff they're working on, but they definitely made it seem like this was the final big feature thing they were coming out with.
So what, we're probably looking at like late May, early June for the release then?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that would make sense. It kind of lines up with what they've done in the past as well. So yeah, and then we've got Minecraft Live in September.
Maybe October. We've done them in October too.
Yeah, I feel like a September this year.
Okay.
That's what I'm feeling.
Well, I'll let Mojang know.
Yeah, you let them know that that's what I'm feeling we should do. Tell Cubed as well, why would they?
Yeah. I always like when we can do our big Minecraft live stream on Cubed.
Yeah, I always do like that when those two things coincide with each other. So let's make it happen, Mojang. So with the podcast...
Changes.
We're going through changes. From April 1st. No, this is not an April Fool. Skeleton levels will have access to the plot world, and Wither levels will have access to the survival world. So we're moving the access on our Minecraft server down a level for each of those things. So Patrons, by the time you hear this, you will have already received an email from me with the details of how to get your IGN on our whitelist and stuff like that. And we are aiming to bring the half stack back to be monthly as well, because it's been bi-monthly over the last few times. And yeah, we know it needs to come back to being monthly. So we might look at different ways of doing that. We might end up making it a live show from the server. We might end up just recording it and just putting it out rather than editing it. But we'll see. But that's the goal. Talking of our Minecraft server, it has been approved by Gamers Safer and by Mojang's enforcement team, which is a very intense name. Yeah. They have approved our community basics and our builders benchmark badges, which means they're happy with the way we run the server and the way we moderate it and our access controls and all that kind of stuff. So if you do play on our Patreon Minecraft server, you'll know that it has been approved by Mojang and Gamers Safer there. So that's really cool. We had to go through a whole process with that. So we're really happy to get those badges. And I'll leave a link to our findmcserver.com address. Look in the show notes. It'll be there. And another thing to do with the podcast. Oh, it's a lot going on. You can now read along with the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our website as well. So Spotify and Apple recently have both. They've kind of done this at the same time. Don't know whether that's a coincidence. But they've made auto-generated transcripts, which allows you to read along with the show in case you're hard of hearing. It's great for accessibility and all that kind of stuff. It's just great to kind of, scroll through the text, find something you're interested in, click it, and it goes straight to that bit in the audio. So these transcripts are automatically generated, so their accuracy may vary. It always gets my name wrong. It always spells my username wrong, which is fun. And availability may vary by country or region. Transcripts may not be available on all episodes currently, but I know they're both going through the backlog of all the shows that they've got on there. Spotify requires the latest version of the app or web player, and Apple Podcasts requires iOS 17.4 or later. Website transcripts are supplied by Spotify for podcasters, and we take those and put that on our website. So, so if you want to read along with the show, you can do that now as well, because that's something we've been wanting to do for ages. We trialed it, I'd say, about 2 or 3 years ago.
I was going to say, it was very early on.
Yeah, we using the YouTube generated closed captions, and they just weren't good. So we kind of tried that for 1 or 2 episodes. It just didn't. The amount of work involved in fixing them was far too much that we could do. So we're happy that our podcast platform partners have taken it upon themselves to use AI, I guess, to auto-generate them. So yeah, lots of changes. So Patrons, look out for an email from Patreon about the changes to the server. And yeah, if you're hard of hearing or just want to read along with the show, there's options out there for you.
Moving on to our polls, we did a Spotify and YouTube poll asking how much people would be willing to pay if Minecraft basically came out with a DLC of a much larger change. And
yeah,
they're mixed results.
Our YouTube people were less willing to pay than our Spotify people.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, our Spotify, the two biggest winners were $10 and $25. People were willing to pay that much. And YouTube, the overwhelming winner was $0, not willing to pay at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think what might be the cause of that. If people feel like I do, where these last couple updates just aren't for them, very much makes sense to not want to pay for stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to pay for the updates we've had. I would pay $20 for the Never update, easily.
Mm-hmm.
I would pay $10 for the Bees update. Bugs and Bees, was it Bugs and Bees? Something like that.
Yeah.
That one I'd pay $10 for. So it very much depends on the update, how much I'd be willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Well, I think the model of updates would have to change to fit that model. It's completely...
Yes, definitely.
Completely not functional to do it this way. We just kind of wanted to hear if people would be willing to buy DLCs.
Yeah.
And I figured people would be because of all the DLCs that came with Minecraft Dungeons. People were willing to buy those and stuff. I definitely bought them.
Yeah, so we had a comment on YouTube from Exodillion.
Axiodillon? MC?
Yeah, let's go with that. 20 is my max, but it would need to be a massively game-changing update, at least 3 times bigger than the Never update. That is a big ask.
Ooh.
That update was already massive.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hey, I can see it though. When I bought the game, I only paid $20.
True.
And I got the full game.
And that's what we've got to remember as well. This game is not expensive.
No. It's very good in making updates free. There's no question about that.
Whether they're to our liking is debatable, but they are there.
Mm-hmm.
And they do take time, energy, money, resources, etc. to make them happen. Whether you like them or not, that's still a thing that happens. And got to give them the benefit on that respect. But yeah, I think 3 times bigger than the Never update might be a tad on the wishful side.
Yeah.
Should we say?
But I can see why people would say something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Before I go to listener comments, do we want to have Jimbo give a reminder on how you can get a discount on your own Minecraft server from Bisect Hosting?
Let's do it.
You can get a discount on your own Minecraft server through our partnership with Bisect Hosting, offering our community 25% off any game server for their first month. This is for new clients only. Visit bisecthosting.com/TWE and use the code TWE at checkout to receive the discount.
Our listener comments today are all about Jesse W. Thank you so much for submitting your questions.
Should we just call it the Jesse W corner?
Yeah, the Jesse W. Dino Fanatic comment section. And they ask, do you think with the new dog armor, the buffs on dogs, the new mace item, and more armor trims, do you think combat update is around the corner? And they may add heavy weapons, maybe light weapons, such as a katana perhaps? Thanks in advance for answering my question. Jesse W., the Dino Fanatic, is too tired to think of a silly death message and just wants to go take a nap. He is eepy. Yeah, I get that. Honestly, I thought this was going to be the combat update.
Yeah, same.
And very much it still could be. This could be all we're getting for a combat update, which would be very disappointing because I really liked what Jeb was doing with the combat update.
Yeah, it's not the combat update we were expecting or wanting, but it is...
It is a combat update.
Some would say a combat update, yeah. Looks like, with the mace and that, it's and the dog armor, of course, that like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely turning into a combat update. Whether whether some of the changes that Jeb was working on is some of the smaller things that you were alluding to earlier when we were talking about the release date of the update and whether they've got any other smaller things for us. Maybe some of the things Jeb was working on are going to be part of the final touches to this update.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, Jeb is no longer working on it. It was moved to Orloff.
Yeah, that's it's a thing.
Yeah. And I haven't heard any more about it since he took over. It could be that parts of this updates are the combat, which I definitely think so. I think combat update was the idea.
Yeah.
But it had a different spin on it.
Which, not against.
Yeah, they definitely wanted to add a new structure, add more things to get. I hope they get away from that, though. It very much, the last couple updates is, you have to go here, to visit here, to do this thing, and only this thing, and then you can go somewhere else.
Got bad news for you.
Yeah, that's the new formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good old days have gone.
Yeah.
And we still don't have any hightail. Anyway.
That game, I'm going to go ahead and say, is never coming out.
No, it's never coming out, is it?
As much as I wanted it to come out, it is never coming out. It's been years.
At some point, we're going to see a story that says Hypixel Studios. Is that who still owns it?
Yep.
Okay. Hypixel Studios has closed production on Hytale.
Hypixel Studios was bought by Epic, I think.
Okay.
So it'll be Epic closed Hytale Studios because they couldn't put the game out in enough time.
No, that's not clickbaity enough. Minecraft Rival is closed down by Epic Games. There's your headline.
Sure.
They have to get Minecraft in there because it's SEO.
Okay.
I'm just giving them ideas now. Let's move on.
But here's the tie-in with Hytale. The combat looked very much like a superior form of combat.
Yeah.
And I could see Mojang taking parts of that. Again, this isn't the combat update I had in my mind, but this is very much probably the combat update we're going to get.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe in September.
Yeah.
We'll see a full combat update.
Maybe we'll see.
Jesse W., a question for you. Do you think that one day, hopefully soon, we will get a Mycelium update? All we have on the islands is big shrooms we have in Dark Oak Forest, a new grassy dirt block, and new cows. That's it. It feels so odd. To me, it seems like the end has more things. It's debatable. Maybe some shroom trees or shroom beasts. Thanks for answering my question. Jesse W., the dino fanatic, was slain by a creeper. That's it. Just a creeper. Move along.
I don't think they're going to touch Mycelium Islands.
No, neither do I.
Or Mushroom Islands.
I loved working on a Mushroom Island.
Yeah, you didn't have to light anything up.
I didn't have to light anything up. I just dug all the mycelium away, replaced it with grey concrete powder, and got on with my day. And then I had a, what do they call it? A zombie raid thing. That about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm building my first building, and from behind that building comes 30 zombies. And I'm like, guys, this is a Mycelium Island. Apparently that's a thing. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, I don't think they're going to touch them at all. I think we've got more chance of the end being touched.
Agreed.
And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, Carl's not coming back to Minecraft till they update the end.
You update the end, and you give me some modern blocks, and then I'll come back. And until then, it's not happening. So, ball's in your court.
I was trying to think like what you could add to the Mycelium Islands. I guess some like grass, not like the block, but like the grass foliage and the tall grass. Maybe some plants other than shrooms would be a good idea.
They're usually quite small, though, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
They're not usually... I mean, I've seen a couple of massive ones, but I've seen more small mushroom islands than I've seen big ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's not that much room for stuff, really.
Maybe kind of like you do the pink blossom petal that acts like a carpet.
Yeah.
That you can put stuff in four corners. Maybe you add something like that.
Yeah, like some little bits here and there, but I don't think you're going to get a complete overhaul of those islands, I think. They're from an era where mobs spawned up to, was it light level 12?
No, 7.
They spawned up to light level 7, and now it's 0. We can edit that so I sound smart. Yeah, 7 now it's 0. They're not really as useful as they used to be, I guess.
Mhm.
I doubt we're gonna get anything from those, unfortunately. Even these little ideas that we had about, like you say, like the little carpet petal things.
Yeah.
I don't even see them doing that. I think if you speak to Mojang and ask their devs, they've probably forgotten that biome even exists.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're getting anything. That's a downer to end on it.
It kind of is. You don't know. Maybe they're going to add a boss mob to those islands and you have to defeat the mob in order to make it spawn proof.
An evil mushroom cow.
That shoots poison out of its udders.
That's a visual.
I was like, why are you pausing so long? It's because you had to visualize it.
Yeah, and I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. Oh dear. Bet you're glad we're back, aren't you guys?
Yeah.
We'll see you in May. Foreshadowing.
No.
Yes.
J-Man in chat's talking about a shroom village with weird shroom-like villagers that are unrelated to regular villagers. Oh no, they won't do that. They'll put a special trade.
Yeah, they'll lock a trade behind. I'm surprised Mending, actually, isn't locked behind a Mycelium villager.
Well, it's locked behind a jungle one, I think.
Yeah, but I reckon Mycelium is
Rarer to get to, yeah, I get what you're saying.
rarer than jungle.
But they would have to create a new villager for that.
Yeah, but they true. Yeah, work.
Mm-hmm. It would prefer spawning in dark caves under the mushroom island.
Okay.
The shroom cave / village would have glowing effects, like the shrooms are bioluminescent. I love that. We already have the lichen, glow lichen.
Yeah, I was thinking of glowberries.
Well, I mean, those glow too.
They're sort of a vibe.
Yeah. And then they have a shroom monster that shoots gross mycelium root like growths to latch onto the target.
Ugh.
I could see a vine that would like grab you when you try to walk by, so it would act like a cobweb.
Yeah, just like really slow to get out of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. Some cool ideas.
Yep. I think that's going to do it today, or do it for today's show.
Just start again.
I think that's going to... Your wording's wrong.
What? I haven't changed the text. Don't start blaming me for this.
You wrote it in British, Carl.
Of course I wrote it in British. I'm British.
I think that's going to do it for us on today's show.
I think that's going to do it for today's show.
But before Carl reads us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are Aerington, Aubni, FragileRock, J-Man, Loki, Mr. Monkey, and the Meme Bug. If you too would like to get access to extra content and exclusive benefits, including our brand new Minecraft server powered by Bisect Hosting, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
If you like the show, you can share it with all your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us so you never miss a future episode. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com. Tweet us, leave us a voice message, or join our Discord where you too can have a chat with anyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links are in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by our digital producer Carl and myself. The amazing music you hear throughout the show was created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.